At the university, class had just ended. Hinata looked at her part-time job pay statement and felt disappointed. Suddenly someone grabbed her shoulder. It was Miki, her old friend. Miki greeted her and asked what she did during the summer break. Hinata replied that she spent almost all of it working part-time jobs. Miki laughed, saying she was still the same as always. Hinata noticed Miki's outfit. Her bag, her clothes, her accessories, everything looked expensive and branded. Surprised, Hinata asked if Miki had really bought them herself. Miki said yes. Hinata was amazed and jealous, asking if she saved up from her part-time jobs. Miki hesitated and said something like that. When Hinata pressed her about what kind of part-time job it was, Miki smiled and said it was a secret. Even after Hinata begged for a hint, Miki refused to answer. After catching up, Miki said goodbye and walked away. Hinata was disappointed but soon overheard other students whispering about Miki. Later, at the train station, Hinata read an article on her phone. It was about papakotsu. It explained how young women would meet older wealthy men, usually just for dining or shopping, and receive money in return. The first meeting was often called an interview. Hinata remembered seeing Miki holding hands with an older man before. She realized this was what Miki was doing. Disgusted but curious, Hinata decided to join too. That night, after a bath, Hinata's phone buzzed. It was a message from a man named Takino. He introduced himself, saying he was looking for someone to have enjoyable conversations with, and that he was very interested in her. He promised compensation. Nervous, Hinata replied, saying she was interested too, but wanted their relationship to remain only meals together. Takino agreed, saying conversation was enough. They arranged to meet. Hinata prepared for the meeting and carried pepper spray in her bag. A man approached her. "Excuse me, are you Hinata?" She nodded nervously. He introduced himself as Takino. They entered the restaurant where he had made a reservation. A waitress led them to their table and told them a full-course meal had been arranged. Hinata was excited but also uneasy. As the food arrived, she commented how delicious it looked. She began to eat and said it tasted amazing. Then Takino spoke. "Hinata, while you eat, will you listen to my story?" She agreed. He pulled out his wallet and showed her a photo. "This is my wife Ryoko and my daughter Yu. They are kind and the pride of my life." Hinata smiled at the picture and said it looked like a happy family. But then Takino continued. "Both of them are already dead." Hinata froze, her spoon stopping mid-air. Takino explained that 15 years ago, while he was at work, their apartment caught fire. It burned so intensely that it took a full day to extinguish. His wife and daughter were burned beyond recognition, reduced to black charcoal. He described how their bodies would crumble if touched. Then Takino looked at her. "Hinata, are you enjoying my story?" She forced a weak smile and said yes. After the dinner, Takino handed her money. When Hinata hesitated, he said it was her allowance for listening. He told her he enjoyed her company and wanted to meet again. Nervous but pleased with the money, Hinata agreed. The next day, Miki noticed Hinata's new shoes and asked about them. Hinata laughed and said she got some extra income but refused to tell how. Miki grew curious but Hinata kept it secret. Hinata kept meeting Takino. Each time she ate while he told the same story about his wife and daughter dying in the fire. Every detail repeated exactly the same. He always asked if she enjoyed his story. At the end of every meeting he gave her money. Though it disturbed her, Hinata continued. Soon she had piles of cash saved up at home. Takino messaged her to set up a meeting. She did not reply. Next day she confided her secrets to Miki. Hinata admitted she felt creeped out because he never told her anything new. Miki told her not to worry since nothing bad was happening, and he was a good source of income. But Hinata decided she had enough money and would cut ties. She sent Takino a message saying she was busy with university. Later that day, while walking home, she heard someone call her name. She turned and saw Takino. He asked if she would listen to his story. Terrified, Hinata shook her head and said she was busy. Takino said he understood, but still forced money into her hand, saying she had at least spoken to him. The next day, on the train, money suddenly rained down around Hinata. She looked up and saw Takino again. He begged her to listen to his story. Panic took over and she fled at the next stop. She met Miki and cried, saying she could not take it anymore. They went to the police. The officer said he understood the situation and would hold on to the money as evidence. He warned Hinata to avoid being alone. That night Miki suggested Hinata take a taxi home. Hinata agreed. In the taxi she asked the driver if 10,000 yen would be enough. The driver said no payment was needed. Someone had already paid him 100,000 yen in advance. Hinata froze. She asked who it was, but before the driver could explain, someone stepped in front of the moving car. The taxi struck him. Hinata looked out the window and saw Takino's body bleeding on the road. Money scattered into the air and drifted down around him. With his dying breath he muttered, "My story. Do you want to hear it?" The next day police called Hinata. They said Takino had died, and it was likely suicide. Relieved, Hinata thought it was finally over. She opened her blinds and felt calm for the first time. She called Miki to explain everything, but then she heard knocking. She opened her mailbox and froze. It was overflowing with money. When Hinata dropped her phone, she got scared. Miki heard her distress over the phone and asked, "What's wrong?" A creak came from the door, and from behind her, a ghostly voice whispered, "Do you listen to me?" The news reported on the case of a missing female university student from Tokyo. She had gone missing last month, and it was now revealed she might have been involved in financial troubles. The case became known as the Mitsuguchi incident. Within the dance club, a certain video app had become popular. Students recorded themselves dancing in time with the music and uploaded it online. It was supposed to be just a game, but for Akarin it became something much more. She was not good at dancing and had not been chosen for the national competition, but as her followers and likes grew, she finally felt seen. One day in class, Akarin was caught checking her phone. The teacher scolded her and told her no phones during lessons. She apologized and put it away. That evening at home, she set up her phone and recorded herself dancing. But when she looked at the playback, she noticed something strange. A black shadow was moving behind her. She turned around, but nothing was there. It only appeared inside her phone. Confused, she thought it might be some kind of filter built into the app. When she danced again, the shadow also moved with her in perfect rhythm. She got scared by it and decided to upload the video online. She uploaded the video with the caption, "There is a black shadow in my house." The next day at school, her classmates surrounded her. They said her video was going viral. One girl said it was scary. Another teased that she could not believe Akarin had kept filming. A girl asked if they could record one together, since she could not find that kind of filter. Akarin insisted it was just a coincidence, but the girl pressed her. They filmed, but the black shadow did not appear. Disappointed, the girl suggested Akarin was hiding something. Others muttered that maybe she just did not want her method copied. Later at home, Akarin's phone filled with notifications. Tens of thousands of people were watching her video. Some were frightened. Others demanded she record another. Tempted by the attention, she filmed again. The shadow appeared behind her, and once more she uploaded the video. Overnight it exploded in popularity. Tens of thousands of likes poured in. Akarin admitted to her friends that the constant notifications would not stop. But not everyone was happy. One of the girls in the dance club grew jealous of her sudden fame. Akarin was comfortable with the ghost now. It became her daily routine to upload a video with it. At school, Akarin sat alone scrolling through comments. During break, that girl approached and asked her to dance with them. At first, Akarin hesitated but agreed. The group pressured her to start recording. One girl said they needed to make sure the ghost showed up properly. They hurried her as the break was ending. Akarin nervously opened her camera, but this time no shadow appeared. She apologized. The jealous girl accused her of refusing to dance with them because she was famous now. She claimed Akarin was lying just to get attention. Her voice rose. She called Akarin nothing more than a validation, hungry ghost. Furious, Akarin shouted back. She accused them of only wanting to use her popularity and told them to earn it themselves. The girl grew enraged and raised her fist to strike Akarin. Akarin shut her eyes, but when she opened them, the girls had vanished. Another student asked where the four of them had gone. Akarin said they had suddenly disappeared. She stormed off, angry that others were slacking before the competition. On her way home, Akarin read through her comments. Many were begging for another video. When she reached her room, she hit record again. Her body froze. Behind her were not one but 5 black shadows. After that, her classmates began to distance themselves. Many seats in the classroom remained empty. Even the teacher no longer bothered to scold her for using her phone. But Akarin did not mind. She still had company. In her phone, the shadows that danced with her. Subaru decided to order dinner through Uber Eats. The app showed that the food was only 3 minutes away. Soon the doorbell rang. When he opened the door, a girl wearing a face mask stood there with his order. She greeted him politely and handed it over. Subaru thanked her but could not help noticing her eyes. She was staring at him directly. He asked if something was wrong. She shook her head, excused herself, and left. Subaru began eating and enjoyed the meal until he felt something strange in his mouth. When he pulled it out, it was a long strand of hair. Disgusted, he thought about filing a complaint. But just then, a notification popped up on his phone asking, "How was Rika's service?" along with her photo without the mask. Seeing her face, he thought she was cute and decided not to complain. The next day after work, he ordered again. By chance, the same delivery girl, Rika, arrived. This time she did not look him in the eye. Subaru thanked her, but before leaving, Rika quietly told him, "You are handsome." Surprised, he did not know how to respond. Later, while eating, he bit into something crunchy. Inside the food were fish scales. More pieces appeared, but once again he ignored it because of Rika. On the third day, Subaru planned to order beef tongue. The app showed a different delivery person named Toshiro, and he felt disappointed. But when the doorbell rang, Rika was standing there again. He was surprised but happy. He said it was rare to have 3 deliveries in a row and suggested they exchange numbers. Rika blushed but left without replying. Inside the container, Subaru found there was more meat than usual. He ate it happily, thinking the restaurant's food quality had improved. The following day, the order showed yet another delivery person named Katsuya, but once again, Rika appeared at his door. She gave him the order while avoiding his eyes. Their hands touched, and Subaru finally asked if she would like to go out with him, saying he wanted to know her better. At that moment, Rika made a strange noise. She said yes, but her words were broken and unclear. Subaru froze in fear. He noticed her fingernails were missing and blood seeped from her mask. Suddenly she ran away. Confused and horrified, Subaru opened the food container. Inside was an eyeball. He dropped it in shock as everything came together in his mind. The first time he had eaten her hair, the second time her nails, the third time her tongue, and now her eye. Inside the container was a note. It read, "I am always watching you." At home, Misaki was scrolling through Instagram. She came across a model's photo, but when she looked closely, it was obvious that the picture was edited. Misaki scoffed and said that the model was probably just some ugly fat girl pretending to look cute. She told herself that she was definitely cuter. From the kitchen, her mother called out that dinner was ready. Misaki shouted back to go ahead without her, saying she would join later. Still holding her phone, she opened one of her own selfies in an editing app called Face Correction. She decided to make some changes. When she clicked on the chin correction option, a loud cracking sound came from her face. Startled, Misaki looked in the mirror and saw that her chin had actually changed shape in real life. It was now round and more beautiful. Shocked, she checked her phone again and saw that her edited picture matched her new appearance. Curious, she tried fixing her nose. With another crack, her nose changed as well. She was enjoying it, but she still wanted to fix everything about her face that she felt was wrong. Her appearance is completely changed. She then decided to adjust her eyes, but as soon as she pressed the option, her phone slipped from her hand. Pain shot through her face as blood gushed from her eyes. Picking up the phone in panic, Misaki saw that her eyeballs were twisted. She screamed in disbelief, saying this couldn't be happening. She didn't want this nightmare to be real. Desperate, she noticed an undo button on the app. She quickly tapped it. With another cracking sound, her eyes returned to normal. Relieved, she whispered, "Thank goodness," and immediately saved the edited photo to her album. Feeling exhausted, she got up to head downstairs for dinner. On the way, she thought about how her mother would react to her new face. She decided she would just have to be honest about it. But when she opened the door to the dining room, Misaki froze. Her mother's body was lying on the floor, broken and bloody. Terrified, Misaki screamed out for her. Shaking, she looked back at her phone. On the photo she had just edited, she noticed something horrifying. Behind her in the picture was her mother. The editing app had changed her as well, twisting her body until her bones broke in reality. On a busy street, a huge banner displayed the rising coronavirus numbers. In a nearby park, Yamada was sitting alone on a bench when someone called out to him. It was his old friend Jun. They greeted each other, and Yamada asked if Jun had eaten yet. Jun said he already had, but Yamada insisted he at least keep him company. Inside the restaurant, Yamada ordered a burger and fries. He offered some to Jun, but Jun politely declined. As Yamada ate, laughter came from 2 girls behind them. Yamada overheard part of their conversation. One girl mentioned a rumor, saying there was an easy way to tell if someone was a ghost. Her friend asked what it was, and she replied that ghosts do not wear masks. Since everyone else wore masks outside, anyone without one might be suspicious. The girls laughed it off and left. Yamada thought the rumor was ridiculous. He told Jun that people should not take such things seriously, pointing out that even experts said masks were safe to remove when not in crowds. He added that conspiracy theories were scarier than ghosts. Jun smirked and asked, "Could it be that you're a ghost yourself?" Yamada snapped back angrily that he was just eating, and that he had been wearing his mask earlier. Jun laughed, telling him to relax. After finishing their meal, they stepped back outside. The streets were packed with people. As they walked, Jun suddenly started pointing at random people who were not wearing masks, saying those must be ghosts. Yamada told him to stop, warning that he would get them into trouble. Jun teased him again, asking if he was actually scared. Then, they both noticed an old woman walking toward them. Her hair was messy, her clothes were torn, and her skin was dirty. She walked straight past them, and Yamada let out a sigh of relief. Jun grinned and said, "See, you were scared after all." Yamada shouted back that he was not. Later, they went into a karaoke bar. Yamada picked up the mic, chose a song, and started singing while Jun sat beside him. In the middle of his performance, Yamada's phone vibrated with a notification. When he checked, his face froze. It was a message from Jun. The text said, "Hey, where are you? I've been waiting by Hachiko this whole time. Did you oversleep or something?" The figure behind him was not Jun. The imposter reached up and pulled off its mask and picked up the mic to sing. Underneath was not a human face but a gaping round hole where the mouth should be, stretching unnaturally wide and covering even the nose. From inside the hollow opening came a sharp creaking sound. Hino had just joined a pharmaceutical company that spring. To welcome her, her boss arranged a party. It was decided to hold it remotely over video call. Hino wasn't too excited. She already knew how awkward and uncomfortable online drinking parties could be. Still, when the party began, 9 employees appeared on screen, and everyone raised their glasses with a cheerful cheers. One of the employees warmly told her, "Hino, we're looking forward to working with you. If there's anything you don't understand, ask your seniors before it becomes a problem." Hino bowed politely and said, "Thank you very much." As she glanced at the screen, she noticed something strange. At the bottom of the call, there was another participant. The video feed was glitching, the face unclear. The name displayed under the screen was Shinada. Suddenly, a screeching sound rang in her headphones. She quickly pulled them out. Someone on the call asked, "Is someone's mic howling, or is it just me?" Embarrassed, Hino lowered her volume, put her headphones back in, and apologized. "Looks like it was me." The others laughed and teased, "Way to go, rookie." The party continued with light banter. "One more drink," the section chief shouted. Hino tried to smile, but her eyes kept drifting back to the bottom of the screen. The glitching feed made her uneasy. Then, one of the employees suddenly asked, "Hey Hino, didn't the door behind you just open?" Startled, she turned around to look at the door, only to see it shut. The employee laughed and said, "Just kidding. Come on, don't scare me." Hino replied nervously, "I just moved here. I live alone. Stuff like that really freaks me out." Everyone laughed again, but the glitching screen at the bottom grew worse. The others noticed Hino's tense expression. "What's wrong, Hino?" one of them asked. Feeling unsettled, Hino tried to wrap it up. "Well, since it's late, maybe we should call it a night." At that moment, all of the faces on screen turned toward her in unison. They tilted their heads slowly, staring. The unnatural sight sent chills down her spine. Then the glitching feed at the bottom shrank and warped until the face was fully revealed. It was a woman's face, distorted and melted, as if wax from a candle had dripped down her skin. Hino screamed, terrified by the sight. But instead of panicking, everyone else burst out laughing. "Prank successful," they shouted. "Sorry for scaring you." Hino, relieved yet shaken, she forced a smile. "Please give me a break already." Still, everyone's acting was so real. And Shinada's makeup was amazing. The laughter stopped instantly. The employees looked at her with blank faces. "Who is Shinada?" one of them asked. Confused, Hino looked back at the screen. The woman with the melted face moved within her frame. Behind her, a door appeared in the darkness. She opened it slowly. At the same time, the door behind Hino creaked open. Pale fingers slipped through the crack, reaching inside. Hino froze in place, unable to move. That day, a family was sorting through the belongings of their late grandfather. They had returned to the father's old family home, a place filled with antiques and relics from the past. With the recent retro boom, the house felt like a treasure trove. The father picked up an old camera and smiled. "This takes me back. Back in the day, everyone used to take photos with this." His daughter, curious, replied, "Yeah, I know about these. They're actually trendy again." She lifted the camera and clicked a photo, surprised when it still worked perfectly. Excited, she asked if she could keep it. Her father nodded, saying, "If it still works, then it's yours." Delighted, she began snapping pictures of the room, capturing the antiques, furniture, and everything around her. But as she walked, she tripped on a loose wooden floorboard. Her father quickly warned her, "Careful. That board is loose." She brushed it off and continued taking photos until the camera roll was completely used up. Later, her father said he was going shopping and asked if she wanted anything. She gave the negatives to him to scan. When he returned, he handed her an envelope containing the developed negatives of the pictures she had taken. Each photo came with a barcode that could be scanned to download the images to her phone. She eagerly scanned them, enjoying the nostalgia, but soon she noticed that some files refused to open. Her phone displayed an error: "Data corrupted, cannot be loaded." Curious, she checked the negatives on the table to see what those corrupted photos contained. What she saw froze her in fear. The first corrupted photo showed the ceiling, as if taken from above, looking down into the room. The second showed the same view, but this time a leg was visible. The third revealed a full body. The fourth showed long strands of hair, and the fifth revealed a face. Shaken, she looked up at the ceiling where the wooden boards were cracked. To her horror, strands of hair were pushing through the gaps, hanging down into the room. Her heart pounded as she whispered to herself, "It can't be, those photos were taken from here." Panicked, she told her father what she saw. Together, they climbed up to inspect the loose boards. She pointed at the crack and asked if the floorboard could be removed. Her father frowned but agreed to try. "There's no way a body is inside here," he muttered. Yet, when he pried it open, they discovered something heavy inside. He pulled it out. It was a mannequin doll. Its weight and eeriness made it feel unnatural. The father gave a strained laugh. "So this is what my father was hiding." He reassured his daughter, "Don't worry, it's not a real body." Relieved, she let out a deep breath. He teased her, "You're still just a kid, aren't you?" Embarrassed, she snapped back, "Shut up, I'm not." The father laughed warmly. But then, from another crack in the floorboards, something shifted. Someone, or something, was watching them from below. A YouTuber named Yamakazu was live on stream, claiming he would reveal shocking evidence. On the screen, he showed a video of actor Ishikura caught in an affair. Yamakazu explained that back then, Ishikura was at the height of his career. But when Yamakazu exposed the affair through his livestream, Ishikura was condemned by the public, dropped from all his shows and commercials, and eventually retired. Yamakazu said it was the greatest pleasure of his life. But lately things were not going well. His comments were mostly negative and his subscriber count was dropping. Then one day, he received a strange message. The sender claimed that the talented actor Katsunari Todo had caused people's deaths through bullying. The message said the sender had also been bullied, that they had spoken to other victims, but none of the incidents were taken seriously by the police. The message promised concrete evidence. Yamakazu was shocked. Todo was a famous actor, but there had long been rumors that he bullied a classmate to suicide during his school days. Seeing this as the perfect chance to revive his channel, Yamakazu replied and asked if the sender would testify during his live stream. The sender agreed. That night, Yamakazu began his stream and introduced the expose. He announced that they would be speaking with a witness about Todo's past. A distorted voice came through the call, claiming that Todo was one of the worst bullies in high school, using his friends to torment others through social media and physical abuse. The caller sent pictures as proof, but most of them were blurry and hard to understand. Yamakazu tried to question the caller, but the testimony grew stranger. The caller claimed to have been forced into humiliating acts, beaten, and eventually pushed into suicide. The voice grew more disturbing, full of hatred, saying they would hunt everyone down and kill them. Yamakazu panicked, telling the caller to calm down, but suddenly the voice shifted and said in a trembling tone, "You should just die too." His monitor went static. Then his camera turned on by itself, showing his own face on screen. His personal information began leaking live to thousands of viewers. He tried to cover the camera but couldn't. His phone buzzed non-stop as people screenshotted his details. Terrified, he begged them to stop. The stream cut to black, and on the screen appeared the words, "Our turn." A face appeared on the monitor, staring back at him. At that moment, Yamakazu saw the viewer count. Over 19,000 people were watching. 3 months later, the news reported Yamakazu's case. Some called it a staged paranormal stunt. Others said his fear had been real. Experts investigated his PC and found no signs of hacking. Occult forums buzzed with theories about what happened to him. But then a new YouTube channel appeared. Its name was Yamakazu's Paranormal TV. On screen, Yamakazu himself reintroduced his show, smiling as if nothing had happened. Shin had just bought a new automatic robot vacuum cleaner for his apartment. Excited to try it, he set it up and watched as it began cleaning. The robot moved smoothly across the floor, picking up everything in its path. "Amazing," Shin said to himself. "It's cleaning all the way from one end to the other." But then, something strange happened. The vacuum suddenly started spinning in one spot, circling endlessly. Confused, Shin picked it up and checked the suction, wondering if something was stuck. But nothing was clogged, and the floor wasn't even dirty. "Wes, I'll try again," he muttered. Each time the robot reached the hallway door, it spun in circles as if something was blocking it. Shin frowned. What is happening? He thought about checking the manual. The next day at work, Shun told his colleague about the problem. "It just keeps spinning in front of the hallway door," he explained. His female coworker suggested, "Why don't you contact the manufacturer?" Shin nodded. "Yeah, maybe you're right." She grinned and added, "Or maybe it's some ghost. Stop messing with me." Shin replied. Back at his apartment, Shin received a replacement vacuum cleaner from the company. The message said that after inspection, no malfunctions were found, but they had sent a new one just in case. Relieved, Shin set up the new vacuum. Yet again, the new machine rolled straight to the hallway door and began spinning in circles. Shin's relief turned to unease. Why does it keep doing that? A few days later, he found a handwritten notice stuck to his door. It read, "The constant banging noise is very loud. We have children, so please be a little quieter." Shin stared at the note in confusion. What are they talking about? I don't make any noise. There were only 2 apartments on the floor, and other one is vacant. He stepped back inside. The robot was still circling in front of the hallway door. Shin bent down to look more closely and noticed scratches along the handle and on the door itself. Before he could react, the robot pressed against the door and slowly pushed it closed. Through the blurred glass window on the door, Shin froze in shock. A shadow appeared. It was the silhouette of someone hanging by the neck. At the university, Shunsuk was packing his bag after class ended when he heard a voice say, "Good morning, Shunsuk. You are late. Hikaru, class is already over." Hikaru looked surprised. "Really? I have not been able to sleep lately," Shunsuk asked. "Insomnia," Hikaru said. "Maybe. I am really struggling. When I get anxious about needing to sleep, it only makes it harder," Shunsuk said. "In that case, how about this?" He showed him a video of ASMR to use at night while sleeping. Later, before sleeping, Shunsuk played an ASMR video of cucumber cutting. Then he received a message from Hikaru. It said, "ASMR is so good. I am exploring a bunch right now. It is addictive." Shunsuk smiled. The next day at a restaurant, Hikaru came from behind and called his name. "Thanks for last time. That ASMR was seriously the best. The tingling feeling in my brain. I just cannot get enough. It does not just help me sleep. I even have amazing dreams. I feel so light," Shunsuk said. "That is good," Hikaru continued. "There are many types of ASMR, like chewing sounds or ear cleaning. I personally like the whispering ones. Maybe because it feels like someone is there. Actually, I stumbled upon an amazing ASMR. It is all glitched out, so I cannot understand what it is, but the sound is incredible." As he spoke, his eyes were bloodshot and blood dripped from his nose. Shunsuk said, "Hikaru, you have a nosebleed. Your eyes are bloodshot too." Hikaru replied, "Really? But never mind that. This ASMR is just amazing. The sound is so good. The woman's voice is beautiful." He did not even flinch about the blood. That was the last time he spoke to Hikaru. 1 week later, Shunsuk asked a fellow student, "Hey, hasn't Hikaru been absent from school lately? Do you know what is going on?" The student replied, "Did you not get a call about it? Apparently he died." Shunsuk was shocked. The student explained, "They said it was an unexplainable death at home. It is just a rumor. But they said his brain had melted or something." "No way," Shunsuk whispered. Soon after, Shunsuk received a call. "Is this Takibana Shunsuk? I am Hikaru's mother. You might have already heard from his friends, but my son has died." Later, he attended Hikaru's funeral. His mother thanked him. "Thank you very much for taking care of my son. That is not all. In my son's last email, he mentioned there is something he wanted to give you. It is this image. Could you please accept it?" It was a barcode. Shunsuk looked at it. Mother said, "I am sorry. I do not really understand these things." Back at home, Shunsuk scanned the barcode. It opened to an ASMR video titled "Rope Measurement." He played it and put on his earphones. The creaking noises from the video echoed. Suddenly, blood ran from his nose. His eyes turned bloodshot, yet he whispered with a smile, "Amazing." AI image generation app that could create pictures from simple text prompts. Sometimes the results looked realistic, other times they were strange or unexpected. For Kento and his friends Ryuji and Takumi, it was just a fun way to pass the time during class. One afternoon, Takumi showed an image he had generated using their teacher's name. The picture was unsettling and didn't look like the teacher at all. The 3 friends laughed it off until Ryuji suggested they try generating an image with Kento's name. Kento refused and told Ryuji to go first, but Ryuji had already reached the daily limit of 10 prompts. They agreed to try again the next day. The following day, the mood shifted. Each of them used completely different prompts related to water, but every image showed the same eerie figure in the distance. Kento's prompt was, "Dolphin drowning in shallow water." Ryuji had used, "A school of Medaka fish." None of their prompts should have matched, yet the same figure was there in all 3 images. Takumi tried to brush it off as coincidence, but Kento and Ryuji were unsettled. Next day at school, Takumi came running and showed them that he generated an image with prompt, "Dolphin drowning in the shallow pool." The figure appeared. When Ryuji tried pool, the figure did not show up. It seemed the entity responded only to certain words. The 3 compared past images and made a disturbing discovery. Even in a random prompt like, "Alien dancing on a desk," the same figure had been faintly present. So Kento narrowed down the prompt on desk school drowning. The image shocked him so badly that he dropped his phone. The figure was no longer distant. It was right in front, holding something in its hand. Ryuji insisted they stop, saying it was dangerous. Takumi agreed reluctantly. But later that night, Kento couldn't resist. He tried generating images with his own name. The result left him shaken. The figure appeared once more, staring directly at him. Soon after, a new message arrived from Takumi. He had generated another image using the words night, desk, school, and drowning. In the picture, the figure was even clearer than before. Ryuji warned them again to stop, but Takumi pushed forward. He said they had already come too far and needed to know what would happen in the end. With trembling hands, Kento typed the final combination of words night on the desk, school, drowning Kento Mukagawa. That night, the school watchman was patrolling the dark halls when he heard strange noises coming from a classroom. When he looked inside, he froze. On a desk was Kento, water spilling from his mouth as if he were drowning. On Kento's phone, the figure was visible in the generated image, this time holding a picture of Kento himself.